This presentation will discuss the intent, implementation and impact of a history unit of work in Key Stage 1. I will discuss the theoretical approaches which have informed 3 critical decisions made when planning this unit of work. Links will be made to the value of historical inquiry in education. National curriculum requirements will underpin the rationale for the subject. I will also assess the potential impact of learning based on my understanding of the key concepts which informed the planning process. The study of history has established a progression in identities and diversities which impact cultural and global changes, shaping the present day, according to Davies 2017. People's ability to develop autonomy and authentic historical lines of inquiry rely on consideration of contextual interpretations from the teacher's perspective and how this motivates interest. Therefore, cultivating historical curiosity in children should primarily be to teach them how to acquire substantive knowledge and understand the importance of questioning. Russell 2016. A view by Burns, Harris and Woolley 2013 of how history was taught in primary settings highlighted the disparity in time allocated to teaching the subject compared with other curriculum areas. Schools facing challenges in responding appropriately to curriculum constraints. However, where the subject of history is used as an umbrella term for cross-curricular teaching, additional time can be devoted through interdisciplinary links. Consequently, secondary concepts could further be explored within other disciplines. My medium-term plan is based on a key Stage 1 study of the sinking of the Titanic and falls under the curriculum requirements of an event beyond living memory. Because it happened in 1912, the Titanic is also a significant event due to the magnitude of the disaster, making it the catalyst for change in maritime regulations, corresponding with aspects of change linked to modern life. The National Curriculum statutory requirements state that in Key Stage 1 pupils should begin to gain an understanding of the past and have a chronological awareness of events within a time frame. This unit of study will make explicit links to key events from the past through the study of a sequenced timeline. It will develop children's conceptual understanding of time. This study will incorporate a broad range of historical terms and encourage pupils' confidence in using subject-specific vocabulary to identify, define and discuss events from the past. Hammond 2014 spoke about layering knowledge to create schemas, in being crucial in helping children to store information and apply it to the world, supporting a chronological sequencing of new learning. Children notoriously find time an ambiguous context to understand, according to Council Byrne and Chapman 2016. Therefore, my planning needed to include a clear timeline of events which children could place within the context of the past. Dahl, Russell and Hales 2019 state that substantive knowledge should be learning that is understood and should not be confused with reciting facts. Children need to apply knowledge and place it in context for it to be valuable, relevant and usable in building connections. According to Saxton et al. 2018, building on prior learning develops more complex thought processes. Therefore, I planned opportunities to reassess what had been learned to ensure cumulative understanding of key facts had been achieved. Lesh 2023 described disciplinary knowledge of how the past is studied and how historical claims are constructed through arguments and accounts needed to be achievable through meaningful and rigorous lines of historical inquiry. Furthermore, Foster 2013 described the importance of pupils developing historical skills and concepts as they are ways we interpret history and recognise how they impact how we live today. Ofsted 2023 elaborated the inclusion of second-order concepts supports pupils to develop the critical analysis that underpins historical inquiry and skills. Consequently, this unit of work provided practical exploratory elements which enabled pupils to become active participants in their learning and therefore gain a conceptual understanding through experience. In planning this unit of work, I considered 3 critical decisions that underpin the intent and implementation. Firstly, I wanted to ensure the cross-curricular links supported the development of historical inquiry and contextual understanding, identified by Russell 2016. Noting the importance of providing opportunities for people to create emphatic links to past events, I considered purposeful cross-curricular opportunities, such as writing a diary entry as a passenger from the Titanic. This would support the development of secondary concepts and perceptions through analytical inquiry, building an independent interpretive perspective. Scientific experiments to explore further the cause and effect consequences of the sinking could connect to the overarching question of how the Titanic sank. I wanted pupils to view the holistic event and develop their reasoning and justification concerning the factors contributing to the sinking and how perceptions may not have aligned to documented events. Pgce links exploring the emotional impact of class systems from the time and how this impacted the quality of life for passengers and access to lifeboats on board the Titanic. It was important for people to interpret events from their own perspective. Technology was identified as a motivating factor in pupil engagement according to Gordon, Brayshaw and Gray, 2015. This would also serve to capture enthusiasm in recreating and recording the sinking ship, linking to art and design and further links to music from the time and geography studying shipping routes and ocean depths created opportunities to meaningfully explore secondary concepts. The second critical decision examined the value of sources. I wanted to immerse learners through tactile exploration of primary and secondary sources. Jordan Over 2019 noted the sources only have value when relevant to historical events, people or places. Pictorial sources could generate lines of inquiry comparing past and present. Beams and Ross described off-site visits as a catalyst for stimulating engagement and enthusiasm for historical learning, which was the rationale for the museum visit, allowing children to connect to real-life experiences, interpret primary sources, and evaluate reliability and value, developing critical thinking, which is vital in historical skills. I wanted children to physically explore artifacts and question the reliability and authenticity of objects, building curiosity and confidence in their ability to question the validity of sources and their usefulness. Furthermore, Hoodless 2008 said that secondary sources would support the children in building a better picture of what life was like in the past, linking national curriculum recommendations that substantive knowledge should be positional in a historical context. Costumes and vanity objects from the time period would provide a fully immersive role-play experience, enabling children to further explore continuity and change and to build secure links to credible disciplinary knowledge. I wanted pupils to question the value and authenticity of sources, reason why differing views may contribute to alternative perspectives of significant historical events, and make comparisons to their own lives in the present day. The final critical decision was to consider how adaptive pedagogy could support the progression and development of historical skills for learners with special educational needs or disabilities. The National Curriculum Inclusion Statement 2015 states that teachers should set high expectations for every pupil, whatever their attainment, using appropriate assessment to set targets which is deliberately ambitious. Noon 2023 describes the importance of accessibility for all learners in achieving a firm foundation of curriculum knowledge. However, Ofsted noted that teachers are often focusing on adapting the written task element instead of building subject knowledge and addressing gaps. I chose a more practical approach to the lesson format to ensure the content was accessible to all learners, ensured that various activities could be evaluated through participant and verbal exchange, meaning contributions were purposeful and relevant, and there was less interruption to active learning. I also planned mixed ability groupings underpinned by the social constructivist approach, using a more knowledgeable other to support the conception of ideas and generate historical lines of inquiry. Foundational understanding of historical events and specific sequence input assists the chronological order of learning. Turner and Bissett 2005 said the study of history in primary education should be purposeful, practical and immersive. This meant children could be actively involved and explore new ideas and concepts without restrictions of success criteria and expectations from other disciplines, such as writing in English, where progress is based on quality of evidence and learning. For example, a diary entry can provide one interpretation but does not represent a holistic view of what has been learnt and understood. Hoodless 2008 said verbal feedback is a reliable and instantaneous assessment model. So when considering adapted practices, I included frequent opportunities for verbal assessment and feedback. The history review found that in primary schools, where regular assessment of children's secure knowledge of key concepts and content were prioritised, gaps or misconceptions in learning could be quickly identified and addressed. After identifying that chronology was a potential area of misconception, I planned this unit of work to explicitly teach the events leading up to the Titanic sinking so that children could place the event in history. I planned progress assessments based on pictorial representations and written elements to ensure a true conceptual understanding of chronology was secure before moving to more complex ideas. The history review also found that curriculum assessment had limited impact on pupil progress when based on isolated facts that did not support the development of connected knowledge of the past. Therefore, I plan to progress historical knowledge and challenge deeper thinking through immersive experiential lesson content underpinned by historical inquiry, conceptual secondary concepts and cross-curricular links. Cooper 2014 states that children in Key Stage 1 must be assessed through observed and verbal interactions. Therefore, my plan included formative assessment methods such as continuous observation, dialogic participation, and verbal feedback. Doyle, Russell and Hale 2019 state that historical skills are cumulative and should be assessed through a range of work. So I planned for an activity to be completed during each session to provide a range of evidence progression. Moreover, it provided a visual scaffold to support pupils in independently identifying opportunities to question further and reason and authenticate sources based on knowledge progression.